teams in both France and Europe should be scared of this PSG squad this season. Fabian Ruiz didn't just win the Euros with Spain. He was a key part of their squad and delivered exciting performances. After a good but not outstanding season with PSG, Ruiz was finally out of the shadows and made it to Spain's squad after Luis de la Fuente took over from Luis Enrique. De la Fuente saw something in Ruiz that previous Spain's coaches didn't see. He acknowledged Fabian's versatility as a defensive midfielder, an attacking midfielder, and also as a function in multiple tactical setups. Apart from that, Ruiz's vision, passing, ball control, dribbling, and ability to shoot from long range made him a great fit for De La Fuente's possession-based 4-3-3 system. Ruiz was the box-to-box midfielder who would allow De La Fuente's system to thrive. So when he played in the first match of the competition, Ruiz repaid that belief in him 10 times over. The Spanish midfielder began the Euros with a performance that showed promise. Fabian Ruiz was everywhere on the pitch against Croatia. His passing to Morata was perfect and directly led to Spain's first goal. He battled the Croatians and dribbled through them like they weren't there. And speaking of dribbling, Ruiz went on a brilliant run and shot into the Croatian net for an excellent individual goal as well. Ruiz announced himself as a player to watch that tournament from that first match and also won the Man of the Match award for his performance. Then, in Spain's second match against Italy, Ruiz also stood out and made sure that Italy didn't have the chance to pass the ball around in the middle. He won 6 ground duels against the Italians. However, as good as Ruiz was off the ball, he was just great on it. He was silky and completed all of the dribbles he attempted against the Italians. He completed 81 out of his 85 passes, and 3 of those passes were key passes. Ruiz also created one big chance for his teammates and was a constant threat to the Italian goalkeeper from long range. Out of his 3 shots that match, 2 were on target. After getting a rest in Spain's third group stage match, Ruiz was back with fury in Spain's round of 16 match against Georgia. Off the ball, Ruiz was okay in that match, but on it he was approaching footballing god levels. He scored Spain's second goal after an assist from Lamine Yamal and continued to harass the Georgian goalkeeper with long-distance shots. Ruiz created one big chance in the game and assisted Spain's third goal. The dynamic midfielder delivered 2 key passes in the game, and his long balls were useful in pressuring Georgia. The midfielder's name had then become synonymous with danger, and no team felt that danger more than Germany. Germany were also favourites to win this game, and they had a stacked team with their midfielders also being superb on and off the ball, but that didn't matter to Ruiz, who picked apart Germany's midfield with sensational dribbles. Ruiz helped Spain put Germany on the back foot by making sure the ball got to the Spanish wingers. Now, unfortunately, the midfielder had to exit the game due to an injury, but still, before then, he was a complete troublemaker against Germany, and his 3 key passes put Germany in compromising situations. Ruiz then returned for Spain in their semi-final against France and continued from where he left off before his injury. His passes were decisive and his shots gave France's goalkeeper something to really think about. It was a typical Ruiz performance, and he then repeated it in the final against England, helping them win the Euro 2024 Cup. Unfortunately, Ruiz wouldn't win the Player of the Tournament award, as that actually went to his compatriot Rodri instead. However, Ruiz is in fine form, and if he brings that form to PSG in the 24-25 season, they're going to be a squad to be feared, especially as his midfield partner, Vitinha, is an equally brilliant footballer and had a great tournament too. Vitinha has gone from a player who was involved in a training ground argument with Messi, with reports claiming Messi had told Vitinha he didn't rate him and he was hurting his game, to a player that's become the heartbeat of PSG's and Portugal's national team. Vitinha had a mixed season with PSG in his first season, but since they hired Luis Enrique, he has become a man transformed. In the 2024 Euros, the midfielder shone and was a standout performer for the team. Vitinha was named man of the match in Portugal's 2-1 win over the Czech Republic in their opening game, and in that match, not only was Vitinha dictating the pace of the game with the ball, but he was also aggressive and made sure he used his unlimited energy to win back the ball for Portugal time after time. The midfielder would continue to be key for Portugal before their eventual loss against France. Vitinha thrived in Enrique's style, which was more team-based than individual-focused. Enrique initially used the Portuguese midfielder on the left side of the pitch, and when he took him central, Vitinha was reborn. The midfielder's preferred midfield role was central midfield, as it allowed him to fully express himself as the team's conductor, both on and off the ball. Off the ball, Vitinha would chase opponents and make them give up the ball. On the ball, the midfielder started attacks and was capable of striking the ball from long range. His long-range efforts have become a lifeline for PSG, as he is another goal-scoring threat for them like Fabian Ruiz, and with Mbappe no longer a PSG player, they will need players to step up to take the responsibility of goal-scoring. Bradley Barcola may prove to be important this season too, as he's showing real signs of becoming a great player in front of goal and in the build-up too. Xavi Simons, who reports claim is looking for a move away from PSG, was also a crucial player for his national team, the Netherlands. However, as good as Simons is as things stand, the PSG squad is stacked in the middle, and apparently there isn't space for Simons to fit in. With players like Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz in the middle, PSG are feeling confident, especially with how these players were so key to their teams at the Euros. Other youngsters include Warren Zaire-Emery and Kang-in Lee, who can bolster that midfield and provide great stability to the team. Now, of course, Mbappe was crucial to PSG during his stay. He scored 255 goals in 306 games and won the Ligue 1 Golden Boot 5 times. Mbappe has scored the most goals for PSG both domestically and in Europe. He's scored the most hat-tricks, the most doubles, and the most goals in a single match. Mbappe was PSG's talisman. Now, luckily, they have the midfielders who can provide magic to the talented forwards in Gonçalo Ramos, Ousmane Dembele, and Randal Kolo Muani. Compared to Mbappe, of course, Ramos does have excellent pace and he has some skill too, but when it comes to scoring goals, he's not going to be as prolific. He has shown he can do it with Benfica. Before transferring to PSG, Ramos scored 27 goals and had 8 assists in 47 appearances in the 22-23 season. His goal record, though, hasn't been the same as it was when he was in Benfica. In 40 appearances for PSG, Ramos has only scored 14 goals and produced 2 assists. However, the striker still has the potential to do more, as he's just 23 years old and adapts to a new environment and style of play. The same goes for Kolo Muani. In terms of attributes, Kolo Muani is probably closer to Mbappe. He's pacey and tricky and can be difficult to defend against with his speed. But again, it's the output that really needs to improve. He has a decent shooting ability, and before his PSG transfer, Kolo Muani scored 23 goals and had 17 assists in just 46 appearances for Eintracht Frankfurt in the 22-23 season. But for PSG in the 23-24 season, he scored 12 times and only made 2 assists. Now, he's definitely capable of more, and now that Mbappe's gone, well, he has to step up. PSG have all the leadership they need in this post-Mbappe era. And we aren't talking about the coach, we are talking about Marquinhos. He has the most caps in the club's history. The versatile central defender is not only stopping attacks from opposing teams with his anticipation, intelligence and pace, but is also great at imposing himself on the game. Marquinhos can affect the game as both a team leader to boost player morale and get them to focus, but he can also affect it by helping his team start attacks from the back and helping them keep possession. Marquinhos' presence will be a stable one for PSG as they adjust to their new reality. The burden of leadership isn't only on Marquinhos. Lucas Hernandez will be fighting to be the centre-back pairing of the captain, and so too will Milan Skriniar, who captained his team at Euro 2024 and performed exceptionally well, both as a leader and as a player, which is a combination that PSG needs at this point. The rest of the defence is so good too. Achraf Hakimi is still one of the best right-backs in world football and is up and down that wing, both defending and attacking efficiently. On the other side of the defence, Nuno Mendes is another promising young player who could occupy that left-back spot for years to come at PSG. And then last, and certainly not least, probably one of the more important players for PSG is, of course, Gianluigi Donnarumma, who is for sure one of the world's best keepers and is a born leader. And even though it feels like he's been around for ages, he's somehow still only 25. So PSG are ready for the future and they have the tools they need to survive. Well, they'll surely win Ligue 1 again. But more scarily, could they go on a rampage in Europe? And how many teams will be able to stop them? Despite their talent, the club is looking to operate in the transfer market and strengthen their squad even more. So where do you think PSG could improve their squad?